David is the co-founder and CEO of TAMP, the managing director at AKT Health US Boston office, and TAMP is also a partner for AKT Health. He is a seasoned healthcare innovator serving as the CEO and co-founder of TAMP and the managing director of AKT Health. His career has been dedicated to conquering the formidable challenges within the healthcare industry and driving digital health transformation. At TAMP, his mission is to revolutionize patient care by enabling doctors to take the lead in digital health innovation and fostering patient engagement in adopting these technologies. In a complex healthcare landscape, he empowers healthcare institutions to upskill doctors, engage patients, and adopt digital health technologies, creating a trusted network marketplace where innovative solutions meet the needs of doctors and patients. Our pioneering blue ocean approach and innovative business model set us apart in driving transformative change in healthcare. This is along with AKT Health. Simultaneously, as the manager of AKT Health, he partners with life sciences companies and health systems to develop market leading strategies for long-term performance, growth, and sustainability. He leverages his expertise in healthcare and technology and provides various services in the US market currently. David has an extensive background, which includes leadership roles in Fortune 100 Management and Indiana University Medical Center, service as a U.S. infantry officer, and degrees from prestigious institutions like Harvard, Indiana University, and the University of Phoenix. He has founded and contributed to the growth of 10 startups with successful exits valuing up to 40 million US dollars. For over a decade, he has been mentor, advisor, and angel investor in the tech startup ecosystem, particularly in Asia. Additionally, he serves as an adjunct professor guiding business MBA students in China and has traveled to over 45 countries. His expertise extends to emerging and transformative technologies, and he has spearheaded the global Innova Hub, advancing innovative solutions. He's not only a dedicated healthcare professional, but also a proud husband and a father, a philanthropist, and a collector of contemporary art. He has an affinity for documentaries, independent films, and international movies, and his skills encompass the pharmaceutical industry. Thank you so much, David.
Okay, thank you, Rashmi, for that wonderful introduction. I do truly appreciate that. So let's get into the FDA guidance. I'm going to be speaking from perspective here in the United States, again on decentralized clinical trials, as Professor Saik so eloquently gave his presentation. So I will follow on that. So welcome, and we will look at some of the importance of FDA guidance in decentralized clinical trials, DCTs, and other aspects as well. Professor Saik had given us a very good definition of decentralized clinical trials. Historically, in the past few years, it's focused more on telemedicine. Now we are seeing mobile, local healthcare providers. We're seeing digital health technologies because of the 6 Ds of exponential thinking. So they're becoming smaller. Devices are becoming smaller. They're becoming less expensive. They are disrupting, they're deceiving, they're digitizing. So these are the 6 Ds. They're also demonetizing, becoming less and less expensive, dematerializing, smaller and smaller. So we're democratizing these types of clinical trials around the world. Sometimes we will have complete virtual. Other times it may be a hybrid where you're coming in, adding wearables, things like that, and then you are performing the rest remotely in home. Here in America, we have over 40 million Americans that live over 2 hours from a doctor. So it's very important to include decentralized clinical trials here in the United States and globally, and especially now, including becoming more inclusive. Diversity is very important. I'll talk a little more about that later. There are key milestones in the evolution, include the adoption of electronic data capture, remote monitoring, and patient-reported outcomes. So there are platforms out there where patients can now self-report, such as Impact Health. Patients can select the symptom severity, pain severity from 1 to 10. Those can be reviewed, analyzed by their doctor, by their physician, and then say their medication can be adjusted remotely without having to drive in, maybe an hour, 2 hours, park, wait several hours just to perform one test and then to go back home. So this can all be done continuously 24/7, 365. It makes decentralized clinical trials much more accessible. It's more efficient, it streamlines the whole process, and it is convenient to the participants, to the sites that are performing the clinical trials. Now, the FDA has issued guidance to encourage clinical trials to include diverse populations. This has not been mandated yet. However, this is something that you want to consider. Are you being inclusive, equitable? Are you addressing disparities, because the FDA is concerned about health disparities and underrepresentation of certain racial and ethnic groups in clinical trials, and then the data analysis from those trials to assess the safety and effectiveness of the medical products. If this is not performed, they will insist on adding additional labeling to note that. So you want to also manage logistics across disparate locations. Of course, this is global world, it's digitized. We have healthcare being provided, maybe a patient in one country now, a doctor in another country, third-party payer in another country, medical devices or pharmaceuticals coming from other countries. So it's very important to plan the decentralization and to be meticulous about this across global locations. So this is something that we want to keep in mind. And now with the digital health technologies, even more important, how we're collecting the data, how we're engaging patients across cultures, across borders. Just give you an example of some of the FDA cleared algorithms by specialty. There's about 520. We have about 350,000 digital health apps download that are currently out there. About 5% have been FDA approved. We have 5 million downloads a day. So this is something that is, of course, growing and expanding. Our patients ready for it, our doctors ready for it. There's been survey after survey, Rock Health and others showing 80, 90% saying they've either used the technology, they're ready to use it, they see the value of using these types of technologies, the doctors, the patients, the healthcare system, those performing decentralized clinical trials, the pharmaceutical companies now investing heavily, creating divisions and business units related and centered around digital health technology. So again, I can't emphasize enough, including diversity. 76% of participants are white. So this is not giving us a good, we're not capturing good data, right, from all diverse races and ethnicities around the world. So we're looking for a number of different ways to access. And sometimes they have to be very creative, very innovative. There are groups out there attempting to access patients here in the United States through their communities, like through community centers, through even churches. There are groups reaching out to like Merck and American Lung Association and others working through Black churches, working through barber shops and hair salons even. There are groups out there. There were some suggestions of working through rural fire stations. In America, there, as I mentioned, 40 million remote Americans. Some don't have access to healthcare. They're getting it through their ambulance, right? The EMTs that work for the ambulance company, the emergency medical technicians. And some have it suggested even through rural fire stations. Many of the small towns in America may only have a fire station. That's kind of like acts as their community center in these very small towns with only maybe a few thousand people. We want to be aware of of risk-based monitoring to identify and manage risks in the clinical trials. This can save us sometimes many months or years and millions of dollars. It can mean success or failure to the decentralized clinical trials. So there are ongoing developments in RBM tools that aim to enhance efficiency and compliance, risk-based monitoring systems used for surveillance and residual security risks. There are companies out there that can assist you in this, such as AKT Health right here, and Impact Health and others. Source data verification ensures the accuracy and reliability of the trial data. On-site challenges are that traditional SDV methods are resource intensive. Decentralized clinical trials can offer innovative approaches. So we always suggest, engage the US FDA and other FDAs in other countries as well very early. There were companies that were kind of decertified. They got certification. They were decertified based on their artificial intelligence algorithm because the algorithm changed. So maybe there was some miscommunication. So it's very important, especially with emerging technologies, to bring the FDA in early and often, build awareness about these technologies because they cannot keep up on each and every technology that's out there. We've seen some 700 new AI, ML, machine learning enabled devices showing up. The latest update added a total of 171 devices. So, in the future, will the FDA need AI to police the AI, perhaps? How can they monitor all of these algorithms when we have hundreds, thousands, even millions? Now, there's something called the being FDA registered. You'll see this on a lot of marketing materials. This only means that somebody went to the FDA site and registered their product or service or experience. Now we have experiences with extended reality, virtual reality, medical device, or other devices. So, they've registered it, but it's not certified. And you will see these kind of fake looking certificates out there. So be careful on those. It's kind of misrepresents, being certified, saying, okay, I have a registration certificate. Now, training and development, we like to say learning and development is very important. We've been a digital upskilling company for many years of doctors and patients. So now, it's very important, the workforce of the future for pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies, medical device companies to upskill their employees and the patients and the doctors in digital health technologies. The FDA also has internal and external programs for digital health technologies, DHTs as well. So there are workshops or events that you can look for. DCT design considerations, you want to select suitable locations, as we talked about. Record keeping, again, there are companies like AKT Health that can assist with this, Impact Health. Location considerations, we now want to consider, it's always about accessibility, identify a target population, but then ensure not only accessible to the site, now is it accessible via the technology? Does somebody have the right Wi-Fi connections, high-speed connections? Are they able to connect via, for video conferencing? And we want to be aware of the compliance and regulatory and ethical standards. Ensure that chosen locations comply with local and international regulations. So again, now we have many decentralized clinical trials being done across borders. We want to ensure proper record keeping, utilize electronic data capture or EDC, ensure the systems are compliant with regulations such as HIPAA, GDPR, and standard documentation procedures should be developed, SOPs. regular audits and data quality checks, and ensure data security and confidentiality. Want to be aware of data variability can influence trial outcomes. Strategies to minimize this are crucial. Engage, again, the FDA for guidance on managing variability, especially in non-inferiority trials, addressing data variabilities, and engaging the FDA for guidance on DCTs, especially in these non-inferiority trials, standardize procedures, develop a training and certification program, ensure robust data management systems, patient stratification and selection criteria, employ stringent patient selection criteria, ensure homogeneity in the study population, conduct pilot studies, and then perform regular audits and quality checks, remote clinical trial visits and activities. Let me just jump to the case. Here's a few case studies. Baby scripts is one. Some of these are being used for healthcare delivery, others in decentralized clinical trials. This is a mobile prenatal care platform helping maternal healthcare providers manage pregnancies. 28 Health, Hazel Health, Eleanor Health, virtual hybrid care delivery for Medicaid enrollees. We have REMA, startup equips community health guides AI-powered insights to engage high-risk Medicaid. So Medicaid is for lower socioeconomic status patients here in the United States. We have Medicare and Medicaid. So Medicare is for senior citizens, and Medicaid is for those in the lower socioeconomic status. Again, I had talked about accessing patients through their communities, through even barbershops, nail salons. They're looking for any way to get patients into these clinical trials. Live Chair Health is doing that. So it's just amazing, the innovative thinking, the creative thinking. There's Socially Determined and Nuna, which is a value-based arrangements used to power models that optimize risk-sharing arrangements. Now, I wanted to just note the Veterans Healthcare Administration. A lot of people don't realize it's the largest healthcare system in the United States, maybe in the world. There are 1,321 healthcare facilities, including 172 VA medical centers, 1,138 outpatient sites. So these are a great opportunity. The American Medical Association and the Digital Medical Society are working with the VA. We have another call with them. We'll be talking to them in January, and we're going through government approval process for Department of Defense. So if you would like more information about how to do that, let me know. I'm happy to help. And the doctor-patient relationship is key. So this is the gap. You know, we have all this technology, all these people, stakeholders on both sides. It comes down to the doctor and patient relationship. So the patients would hear, they will listen to what their doctor has to say. The doctor is listening to what the patient has to say. So I will conclude here just to summarize. Early engagement with the FDA, build awareness with them. It's about human relationships. Again, the doctor, the patient, and all stakeholders. Have proper planning, assess your risks, be inclusive, diverse, equitable, have innovative thinking, be aware of how you're handling the data or contract that out to a company that can do it, and establish learning and development. So for the road ahead, I'd like to call for international cooperation. Again, we are working across borders, so we need international regulations in addition to working with the local countries, local cultures, and local regulations. And I will finish there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. I think it was a very nice follow-up from Mujib's session. I think like a nice continuation. Okay, there is one question, David. how is digital clinical trial different from DCTs? How's DCTs different from digital clinical trials?
Yeah, so this is just an initialism. So we have an acronym. Acronyms will, a lot of people will call initialism an acronym, but it needs to spell out a word like NOW, National Organization for Women. DCT are the initials, so it's called an initialism, decentralized clinical trials. And as I mentioned, with the 6Ds of exponential thinking, we have the convergence of technologies that now makes this possible. It really wasn't possible. We saw during COVID, we saw 125,000% increase in telehealth use. And again, a lot of these devices are becoming smaller and smaller, less expensive. We can do a lot of in-home monitoring, diagnostics, and things that we couldn't do before. But yeah, it's DCT, decentralized clinical trials. Thank you.
Meaning to say decentralized clinical trial can be used synonymously with digital clinical trials. Is that so? The question was, how is digital clinical trial different from decentralized clinical trial? Are these two different things, or is it the same?
Oh, yes. So you can have the centralized, so you can have clinical trials without the remote, kind of the traditional, right? You're going in, everything's manual. Maybe it's even being done on paper. You're going to a site, having all the tests performed. As I mentioned, you got to drive in, maybe several hours, wait several hours, have someone do one, small test, then you drive back home several hours. Now you can, this might be a hybrid. So you might have centralized and decentralized. So decentralized, you're in your home, like we call hospitals without walls, we're talking about now. Healthcare at home. So you can be at home and you are being monitored. The physician and the clinical trial folks will be analyzing the data, and then the doctor can remotely adjust. Like say you're on 5 milligrams and you need to be there, monitoring you, and they say, okay, you need to, be reduced to 3 milligrams. And you don't need to come in and spend hours and hours and hours. And there may be a hybrid. Maybe you'll come in once, and then you'll be monitored maybe for several weeks. So it could be a hybrid. Yeah, but there's still a lot that are going on now without the decentralized aspect, right? They're just being done centralized. You just come in and that's it.
Got it. I hope that answers the audience's question. And thank you so much, David, for the time today.
Thank you. It's been a joy.
Thank you.